All right, y'all. So I had to take a little break, take me a little nappy nap, and get back to it. And of course, we got to talk about Married to Medicine. And Married to Medicine is finally back to the mess. Okay. So let's be real. You know, we watch these shows. Oftentimes we think we're watching Housewives. For those of us who started watching Housewives back in the day, we're watching Housewives for a different reason than the folks today are watching Housewives. And it's taken me a minute to figure that out for real, for real. The newfangled folks are watching for something completely different. We, the OGs, are watching for fabulosity, frivolousness, foolishness, and effery. Okay. Um, Back in the days when it used to just be fun, just fun. You would watch an episode and just laugh your butt off at the shade and the drama. You know, nowadays, nowadays it's got to be doggone near a scandal for it to be good to some people, right? So a lot of times when I'm rating the episode, people will misconstrue what it is that I'm looking for, okay? Because they think it's they scandal, and I'm trying to tell you I'm looking for something different. I'm looking for fun, fabulosity, frivolousness, and effery. And that is exactly what I got in this episode of Married to Medicine. I was like, you know what's funny? Y'all could have kept them last 2, 3 episodes because I feel like now we back to business. Now we back popping. The Married to Medicine ladies work best, unlike but um you know, wherein it is better on Potomac when the ladies are not together. Okay. It might just be best to keep the cast separate and just pretend as if there's not one cohesive group. Married to Medicine functions, okay, in the group dynamic of it all. Okay. And this episode had not one, but two major events. And I'm like, why did y'all hold these back from some of those other lackluster episodes? My word, my word. Did you not feel like we deserve some goodness after y'all the way they didn't kick Quad off the island like Survivor? I'm a survivor. Okay. Um, Dr. Simone was Beyonce, baby, when she had performed that that quadectomy and got Quad out of their system. Yes, God, because she did lead that charge. But I digress. I digress. I digress. It is Simone again at the heart of the chaos and the drama. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, indeed. Simone is earning that paycheck, rolling, rolling on a river. Ain't gonna mind though, because I do like an activated Simone, and I've been saying that for years. Okay. Simone activated and yelling is what I look for. Okay. So we finally back to the mess, and I'm like, oh, so ecstatic. I'm gonna have to give this episode. I'm gonna give it a. Mm, am I gonna give it a 10? I'm gonna give it a 10. I'm gonna give it a 10 for the sheer relief that we had some fabulosity. Okay. How about Phaedra and a $70,000 party, or at least that was quote the estimate. Now, by the time I'm sure the quote discount was given, I'm sure it won't 70,000 because if I'm being charged $70,000 and I'm putting your party on the show, you're gonna need to take a couple of them $1,000 off. Okay. Anyway, because $70,000 for a 13-year-old party, that's a lot of cash. That's a lot of cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money, dollar bill, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. What would you rate this episode on a scale of 1 to 10 and why? Let me know. Okay. We got a lot of mess. We got some callback to some mess from seasons prior, and we got some allusions to what is going to be mess of episodes future. I love it. I love it. All right, so let's get into it. The episode is called Not Phaedra's Type. And we learn a lot about about Phaedra this episode, I think, through the lens of her son Aiden, which is interesting, fascinating stuff. I still prefer Phaedra on Traders, mostly because she's given much more to do there. But I didn't mind this episode because it showed a much softer side of her. Um, she is going to be spending $70,000 for this party, we learn upon opening the show. Sweet Tea is, interestingly enough, at Dr. Heavenly's dental office getting some gum contouring. I would be, is it just me? Or would y'all be afraid to go to a cast member to get... I might be a little bit afraid to go to any of the cast members and let them do my doctoring or dentisting, mostly because I might argue with you later. And you know about the inside of my mouth, okay? So I don't need you throwing that up in my face when I'm arguing with you. I don't need it slipping out your mouth. I don't need you then going in extra hard and jerking me around. You know what I'm saying? Because you're still mad from the last time I read you down. You know what I'm saying? I don't need all that. So I don't know that I would go. And Sweet Tea a good one for doing that. Now that ain't no knock on Dr. Heavenly, her practice, because you know she got it popping over there. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, for me as a cast member, I don't know how I would feel about it, because I'd be like, no, girl, you ain't gonna I'm not gonna give you no ammunition to use against me because you spotted a cavity last week. You know what I'm saying? No, ma'am. And then we arguing and you talking about the cavities in my mouth. No, not today. And I know that that's something, that's probably some is there some HIPAA stuff? I don't know, because I don't fool around in them things. But what I do know is I'm still thinking you're gonna be judging me. That's my issue. It's a me thing. I think you're gonna be judging me. I already think my dentist be judging me anyway. So why I need to be around you working, and then I already have the fear that you're judging me. So anyway, and so what we learn is that Sweet Tea got to get permission from Dr. G for Dr. Heavenly to play around in her mouth. Pause. And Dr. Heavenly got to get the card information from Dr. G. And then Dr. Heavenly's like, well, Quad always had the card. At that point, I would have got up and left. Okay, so here's the thing. Ma'am, why don't you don't have a credit card? You ain't got your own card? I know you got a job. I seen you on your lives talking about your government working. So I know you're employed. I know you're gainfully employed. You got the insurance. You know what I'm saying? Sounds like you probably got the insurance. I don't know. Okay. These are the questions that I got, and I just want to know. Okay. Somebody riddle me that. Anyway, Toya is finally happy. It only took 10 years. Okay. She's finally happy. Eugene has taken, all it took was 1-800-Flowers. Did you know? All it took was 1-800-Flowers. All he had to do was take her down to the horticulture center and set her up with a box of flowers and some champagne, and that is going to set her mouth straight. Finally, okay? And it's so funny that we've been talking about whether or not Toya is spoiled, unhappy, ungrateful, or whatever the case may be. And Dr. Eugene, even in this episode, tells her that she is hard to be with and hard to please. Toya is real sedity, okay? Now, I can't blame nobody for having high standards for yourself. I cannot, okay? I cannot, all right? I think it's just interesting every time I think back to I know I'm wrong, but every time I think back to this moment,
Yes, you can. Are you being a good example with your raggedy, broke ass? Are you leasing houses and leasing cars? Not since you can.
So it be like this a ditty, and then you got your cast members ripping you to shreds, and telling us all of your rental tea and whatnot. I don't know, but I do think that Toya is fabulous. Don't get me wrong, but it's just an interesting dichotomy when I think about it in the context of the things that her cast members have told us about her over the years. Okay. So, um, I don't know. I don't know. Is it champagne taste on an all but miss budget, or is it just champagne taste, baby? And you got to make it happen for me. I don't know. But I'm not mad at it because, listen, if you don't expect the best of life, then what are you doing? So, anyway, I note that she's like, Eugene, it's so good having the girls around now that Quad's gone. Yes. Finally, it has happened to me right in front of my face, and Quad ain't here to see it. I mean, she's just so, giddy. Oh, yeah. Ooh, I'm all in my loins. It feels so good now the Quad gone. Yes, everything is fun and festive and boring. Anyway, down to Dr. Damon's event at the cigar bar. Now, this was a shift, okay? This was a shift in the dynamics because now we down to the juke joint, okay? I mean, and by the juke joint, I mean we down to the cut up section. I mean, I'm like, now where we back to the fabulosity down here, down to the Married to Medicine. We about to shake. I mean, I felt like we was at the Boogaloo. You know what I'm saying? Did you not? Did it not feel like? Did it not feel like the juke joint? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I felt like maybe it was because Dr. Heavenly was dressed like a flapper. I don't really know. Okay, either a flapper or a city girl, but or like she was about to go take off on Dancing with the Stars. I wasn't mad at it though. Although Simone did shade that outfit and said it was a bit too young for her, and by young I mean small. But I found it to be right. I found it to be right sassy. Okay. I liked it. I liked the sassy look and I liked the sassy hair the night of. Okay. I liked it. I mean, everybody again, I felt like we was down to the juke joint. Well, I felt like Dr. Heavenly was going to the juke joint. Okay. Some of the rest of the girls came dressed like they was, going to the park, and not Phaedra Parks. So anyway, find out we did that Phaedra had dressed Dr. Heavenly. What do you know? Don't you? Didn't it look like a Phaedra Parks Esquire outfit, eh? Oh my God. This tea is so delightful. So anyway, Simone, everybody come to the party, to the fete. And Phaedra comes and Phaedra is ready to mingle, whether she like it or not. Okay, because Dr. Heavenly gonna lasso her up, man. Dr. Heavenly is ready to set that woman up as quickly as she can with anybody who is eligible, ready, willing, and able to play the drums on her bum bum. Okay, and Phaedra just needs some money for the books, baby. She just needs some money on her books. But never mind that anyway, because she need them to be young, dumb, and full of rum. Yes, that's it. So anyway, the name on everybody's lips tonight is gonna be Phaedra because Dr. Heavenly gonna see to that because she gonna auction the woman off to any man that's any warm body in the building. Okay. So after the auctioning goes off without a hitch, maybe. Now it's Dr. G Gregory running around here with the pipe like Sherlock Holmes. Did I see that? Is people still smoking the pipes? I swear for goodness, I ain't seen a pipe since. Did my granddaddy have a pipe? I don't see pipes that much these days. Actually, you know, the last time I saw a pipe, I was watching this documentary on not on the Netflix called The Staircase. Have y'all seen that? It is like they filming a real life documentary while the people is going through the murder investigation. Oh yes, and the man at the center of it, he runs around with this pipe. Okay, and that was in 1990 or something like that, or some type a while ago. You know, so the fact that this man is still running around with the pipe is any people. I just answered in the chat. Are people still smoking the pipe like that? Okay. And I don't mean I mean the pipe. I mean the Sherlock Holmes pipe, you know, not the Sherlock Homeboy pipe, because Sherlock Homeboy, he don't do that. So anyway, Simone get to asking about, you know, Dr. Kema, and she wants Toya to tell Alicia what Dr. Kema said about American women. They get into some tete-a-tete about Dr. Kema. And I feel like there is something here we're supposed to get from this Dr. Kema and Dr. Alicia situation that I don't completely understand. For it sounds like he has a very traditional caveman vibes, views on relationships that really don't jive well with most American women. But Dr. Alicia seems very independent anyway. So it kind of, to me, negates everything that he's saying and that the women are seemingly trying to be so upset about. Because I'm like, if this story to me would work better if Dr. Alicia seemed uber like submissive and uber like, you know, like beat down or something like that, but she don't. So I don't get it. And maybe it's just me. But is it falling flat for anybody else? She's gorgeous, and I definitely want to know more about her, especially now that she's arrived with these bejeweled gloves from the GNA collection. Okay. But I just feel like, you know, I don't really understand what they trying to sell me here. You know, I ain't bought it yet. I want to though, you know. So please give us more, but not this. So Dr. Simone screeches at the top of her lungs. Me and Cecil are throwing a 10-year combo trip. Okay. And guess where we're going, guys? You will never guess in a million years. Guess where we're going? It's too fabulous. It's too chic. It's so chic. These are the chicest wind chimes. These are the chicest beaches. These are the chicest flights that we're going to have to take. These are going to be the chicest rooms. But guess what? After 10 years, we are going to go all the way up the coast to the Hilton Head. Did y'all blow that budget on the Napa? Did y'all blow that? If y'all would have saved some money, and y'all probably could have found yourselves down to Belize, okay, or to the Brazil or someplace, or to maybe to the not to the Barbados, because Lord have mercy, they didn't have a good time there, okay, but to the Bermuda or something like that. Had y'all not flown quad all the way down to the Napa only to send her back, that was a waste of a first class flight. Because I know Miss Mama didn't fly coach, okay. Y'all could have saved some money had y'all not done all that, done them theatrics, okay? And y'all probably could have went down and afforded someplace else. But now I got to call some things down to the carpetation, okay? Let's call it down to the carpetation and carpet munch. Let's do it. So the question becomes, Simone, first of all, now we throwing $70,000 parties. We done went to Napa, drank wine and grape juice and all kind of thing like that. And now we gonna find ourselves going to the Hilton Head. I said, I thought we was going back to, I thought we was doing Fabulosity now that Phaedra was here, but I can see that Phaedra probably blew that budget too. So now we got to go on that. Now, this is no disrespect to anybody that's got the properties down in the Hilton Head, or if you visit Hilton Head on a day-to-day basis, or if you like going there to escape with your mistress. I do not know. What I do know is, to me, when I'm thinking about the cast final trip and you going somewhere for 10 years, baby, you need to be going someplace ultra fabulous, and Hilton Head is not the place that I think of when I'm thinking of fabulosity for a 10-year vacation. That's not it. I don't understand. So I'm left to believe that Hilton Head was the only place that we could think of to create some dramatation for Jackie, okay, and Curtis. Let's bring them back in. Let's bring Jackie down to earth. And so somebody said, we're going to send these girls down to Hilton. I bet everybody's like, Hilton? What? And then somebody in the room said, in the group chat, in the production said, well, you know, Hilton Head was where he got caught doing the thing. Somebody said, bingo, that's where they going. Otherwise, Simone, girl, you might not be the best friend. Because the reason I say that is, hear me, holler if you hear me, because I know some people be thinking like, well, who thinking about what a best friend, man, was caught cheating at? Who thinking that, right? Girl, you screeching at the top of your lungs later on about you to known this woman for 20 years. 20 years long, you should know she ain't trying to go back to where that man then got caught with that woman that down to the Hilton Head, okay? That is a crappy location to pick all around. But for me and my amusement, yes. We're going to talk about the practicality of all that in just a bit. But let's talk about the shock of it all right now. Because Dr. Jackie's like, now say what now? And Dr. Heavenly has to remind us that, oh, yes, indeed, Curtis was caught down to the Hilton Head with that girl, with that lady. Down there, with that lady. So, she has to wonder, did Simone think that this would be a trigger for Dr. Jackie? And Simone is like, oh, I would have never done that to Dr. Jackie. Never to my friend of 20 years. I would never have done that. Oh, God, no. I would have never done that. No, not in a million years. Not me, because I was just thinking that Hilton Head is just so fabulous. That's where all the stars go. This is where fabulosity dwells. Fabulosity exists, and it blossoms down to the Hilton Head. Yes. And I was thinking 10 years. I mean, where else would we go but up the coast to the Hilton Head? It's chic. Do better. So Heaven's like, well, did you ask Dr. Jackie before you decided that? And Simone says she would not choose to be messy, and that, she forgot. And quiet as kept, she may have forgot. Okay. I would have to believe that this trip seemed, based on the context clues, this trip seemed to have come up last minute. So if they said to, hey girl, we ain't got that much money left in the budget this season because we didn't brought Phaedra on, we already had to get rid of Quad, you're gonna have to pick something close by. And she probably said, eeny, meeny, miny, well, Hilton Head is probably all we can afford. Let me hype it up. Okay, let me hype it up. Oh, dang, my girl's man got caught there. This is so wild. So anyway, baby, let me. Oh God. Dr. Jackie said, well, she would rather go to Myrtle Beach than go to Hilton Head. And Dr. Jack, did Toya say Myrtle Beach, the ghetto or something? Is that what she said? Or maybe it was just me. I probably misheard her. I'm sure I did, because Lord knows we got to keep Toya happy. So Dr. Heavenly then, because they're in a group setting at this point, and Dr. Heavenly confronts Dr. Simone about being more compassionate, and Phaedra asks how Dr. Jackie feels, and she's, never been to Hilton Head, and she never intends to go. She doesn't feel like Simone, she tells us in her confessional, was being malicious, but she's going to have to talk to Curtis when she gets home. So, Dr. Jackie then arrives home. Oh, we supposed to believe this was the next day? Because Dr. Jackie's whole head is in braids now. Regardless, whatever. Continuity be damned. Anyway, y'all know I don't normally curse, but I'm in the spirit of things. And it's literally ginger tea in this cup. I promise you. It's ginger tea. I promise you. But there is a certain amount of delirium that occurs when you have done 2 of these recaps in a row. It's like giving 2 live stand-up shows. And I'm not a comedian. You know what I'm saying? So it's extra taxing. So anyway, is her only patient the brat? Is that the only patient she got this season? Because she running in late home from work. He complaining. I thought you was gonna be home all early these days. What does it matter? You in the DR every week anyway. So she's like, well, I got to wait for the brat to get off the radio because that's the only patient I got to see this time, and that's the only one that she's known. So anyway, I guess ain't nobody else having no babies in Atlanta. Meanwhile, Curtis has got to go back to the DR. And Dr. Jackie is like, well, we got something coming up on the 8th. And he's like, oh, well. And I'm like, what's going on in the DR, Curtis? I'm waiting. What you doing down there? Because we still don't know. The only way we might know anything near what you might be doing down there is because Dr. Heavenly might have alluded to something that you might have done in terms of building houses or something like that. I don't know, on the YouTube when Carlos was trying to press her for information about what was going on with Curtis. And even she was vague about that. So anyway, she lets him know that the last minute trip is coming up to the fabulous Hilton Head. And he is over it. They've been down that road too many times. Now, Dr. Jackie, for some reason, wants to go because it's been 10 years with this group. And she lets him know that anything can be said, but he lets it be known that he's not going to answer to anybody. I don't know what it was about him that was just irking my spirits. The way he was just sitting there so cocky and, yeah, I'm not going to be questioned about anything. No one's going to ask me about my life. And I noticed that she had to say about our lives, okay? I won't be questioned about what I'm doing. I won't be answering to anyone. Negro, you are the reason you are in this situation today. So I'm going to need you to settle down, my friend. Settle all the way down, okay? Because at the end of the day, this was a real situation that you found yourself in. And so now you can't be like, well, I won't be answering any questions from anybody. No one's going to question me and my authority. Anyway, I get it to a certain degree. You want to protect your peace, but it ain't the location, my friend. It's the actions you was taking. So y'all running around here trying to avoid Hilton Head like the plague. But at the end of the day, for real, like if y'all can move past it and you can look at this man every day, then you can definitely go to a location and you can definitely be okay. It ain't the location that cheated, it's the man. Period. So making this location a thing so much, like I get it to a certain degree. You don't want to, and the other thing was this. It's only a big deal if y'all two make it a big deal. Period. If you can look at this man every day, then you can most certainly go back to you gotta get. I'm just saying this. You gotta get past the location, And I know I could be speaking and not knowing, but I will wager to think that it cannot just be the location. It can't just be the location. It can't be. Meanwhile, at Phaedra's house for Aiden's $70,000 13th birthday party, I know the sweet tea came in. She's commenting about, now this is how you throw a birthday party. And Dr. G is like, yeah, if you can afford it. Anyway, this is the type of event I want to see. I want to see more fabulosity on these shows. And I just feel like finally we're getting that. There's a trumpeter. We got Dwight Eubanks making an appearance. You know, we got pyro. I mean, we got people walking around on stilts. We got flamethrowers. It's all there. And you know, Toya's of course wondering, well, where's Apollo? I'm sure he didn't sign that release form either. Cecil's brother David's in town. He married, and Dr. Heavenly want to know why he's staring at Phaedra's rump. Anyway, Dr. G and Kema over there talking about their wives taking care of them and churning butter in the background. You know, waiting on them hand and foot, doting on them, serving them, feeding them in their mouth, sticking the spoon and the fork and the food down their throat, chewing the food for them, making their beds in the morning, bathing them, you know, putting the smoke stuff in their cigars, making the hookah for them, fixing their drink, rubbing their feet, patting their backs, cutting their facial hair off like Celie was doing, Mister. You know, all the things that they envision women to be. Anyway, you know, it's time for Dr. Heavenly to confront Dr. Simone. Yeah. Now, this argumentation, as I'm going to describe it, because I could go down the notes on this, but instead I'm just going to talk about it in general, right? You know, my thing is, I did feel in this moment, I felt like, okay, Dr. Heavenly going real hard at Simone. I would probably say to make TV more than anything else, but I also feel like she definitely had Dr. Jackie's back more than Dr. Jackie will probably have her back. And I feel like it's interesting to see several things play out. One is you see that Toya feels like Dr. Jackie is not a good friend to Simone for letting Dr. Heavenly speak to her in such a crazy way. Because they's going ham at each other at this kid's party, right? So I noticed that dynamic. I also noticed that Dr. Jackie is preparing for somebody like a Toya to bring up the infidelity revisited that Hilton Head is likely to conjure, right? I also noticed that they're speaking about Dr. Jackie as she also in like kind of she's in the situation, she's out of the situation, she walks into the situation, she runs away from the situation, she runs back to the situation. And Dr. Jackie really is, I don't know if you guys picked up on this, but it almost feels like she plays the role of the damsel in distress in between these two friends. And it really is up to her. And I don't know if that's easier for her to play the damsel in distress and run back and forth in a helpless manner versus standing up to Dr. Simone herself and saying, girl, I don't want to go here. Like, you should just say that, because it also seemed like the scenes were filmed out of order. Why are we still talking about you don't know if you're going to go when it seemed like the end of the conversation that you had with Curtis, like y'all was going to go? So maybe there's this push pull, like, and I noticed her hair was different again. She wanted the braids again. So the timeline to me is a little bit off, right? I know that scene had to be filmed out of order. Now that I think back on it clearly, because as we go back, we see Dr. Jackie's hair was worn in a very natural way at the event where Dr. Simone so fabulously told us about Hilton Head. The next time we see Dr. Jackie, she's in braids talking to Curtis. So I'm assuming she needed to wait until he was back from the DR. I don't really know. Or maybe sometime later on. I don't really know, because the next time we see Dr. Jackie, she's got the natural hair again and it's in the ponytail. So that lets me know that that scene that was filmed with with Curtis was definitely not filmed in the order in which we saw it, right? So that also leads me to believe, then why did y'all put that scene there? It really didn't make any sense, okay? Maybe it was filmed right before they go on the trip, because that was the only time Curtis was available to do it, because the next time we see Dr. Jackie, which is in the Hilton Head, she has the braids again. So I would assume that that scene was filmed right before they went. Why did they do that? I really don't know. So anyway, because it would have made more sense to me to get that scene last than to put the scene where they put it at, right? Other than that, the other curious George for me in this episode is, if the trip bothered Jackie that much and it was my friend, why wouldn't I, as the planner of the trip, go to a different location? Because it seemed to me as though Dr. Simone is saying, well, the trip is already planned. That's interesting. It's just interesting. Like, there's a lot of interesting things happening here in that play, and I feel like they could have played this a little bit better, right? Because if my friend was still having that big of an issue with it, I would have changed the location real nice and quick. Because to be quite honest with you, Hilton Head don't seem as fabulous as, when we talk about fabulosity, we talk about it in comparison to the fact that the Beverly Hills ladies are in Spain. Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Spain, España. Mhm. And so when you really think about it like that, it's kind of weird. So that whole argument takes place. It gets loud, it gets rowdy. There's cursing involved. There's a damsel in distress running back and forth and to and fro. And finally, there's a bit of resolve. And Dr. Heavenly is asking for a hug. No. And so the next thing you know, it's time to pack for the trip. Sweet Tea was looking on the TikTok with the rest of the kids. And so she was like, yeah, I don't think it's going to be much to do down into the Hilton Head. Yeah, you're right, girl. I don't think so either. I mean, unless you just want to go to the beach or something like that. I don't know. I've never been to Hilton Head, to be quite honest with you. I've only heard about it. I'm just letting y'all know that I'm being real biased right now. Like the people like to say, you're biased, you're biased, you're biased. I'm so biased. So anyway, she felt like she's gonna be bored going with all these older people. Anyway, Dr. Simone wants to give Dr. Jackie the best room, the honeymoon suite. And I always be wondering, why is Toya's bedroom so empty? But somebody who is so fabulous, you would think they would have more things in that bedroom. Now, granted, that bedroom that they be filming in might not be their primary bedroom. You know what I'm saying? They might have the filming bedroom, because having a film crew in your bedroom is, I mean, there's all things that can go wrong with that. And why would you want somebody to see the real bedroom that you got going on? But my thought is, you spending all this time at home and you complaining about how bored you are, why don't you furnish that place? Add a little bit of texture and design into that room. Why don't you paint it? Give us a little bit of color. I mean, because it'd be looking like one of those rooms on Basketball Wives that the new girls be staying in, or like Love and Hip Hop, when the people be filming someplace and that we know that they don't live there, and the production crew don't even bother to put up no decor. And I told y'all once before, I used to be one of those people that used to work for the residential and dining programs for Virginia Tech. And so one of the things that I would used to do when I would have to prepare a staged room, and they would give me a little small discretionary budget to go down to the local Walmart and decorate the room, and I would take that money and I would maximize it to the best of my ability. So I know that you could send a PA down to some place and put up a painting on the wall or something like that you can get the rights to, because they got to have the rights to put the painting on the wall, to put it on TV. I know you can find something, a local artist or something like that. Yeah, these little things that be bothering me. Anyway, y'all seem to like when I'm unhinged, and at the end of the day, when this is the end of the day, and so this is what y'all get. So that's the episode. Thank God we are back to our full form for Married to Medicine cast and producers, thank you very much. You guys have finally pulled it back together, and I feel like we're back on track. With that being said, I will catch you all, of course, in the next video.